Decoding the divine architecture of every serendipity in your daily routine. Many people think miracles belong only to the extraordinary burning bushes, parted seas, or dramatic conversions. Yet Catholic spirituality insists on something deeper. God is not only the Lord of the spectacular, but the architect of the ordinary. What we call coincidence or serendipity often becomes, in the light of faith, a whisper of providence woven into daily life. To decode the divine architecture behind everyday moments, we must first understand the Catholic belief in providence. Providence is God's loving guidance of creation toward its ultimate purpose. The Catechism teaches that nothing escapes God's care, not even the smallest details of our lives. This does not mean every event is scripted like a rigid play, but God works through human freedom, circumstances, and time. God speaks in the language of the ordinary. Our daily routine often feels repetitive: waking up, commuting, working, cooking, resting. Yet Scripture repeatedly shows God choosing the ordinary as his favorite stage. Moses was tending sheep. David was playing music. Mary was doing household tasks in Nazareth. The pattern is clear. God's greatest works frequently begin in unnoticed moments. Serendipity appears when we encounter someone unexpectedly, remember a forgotten prayer, or feel an urge to change a plan. These moments may seem random, but faith invites us to ask, what if God is gently arranging the timing? Catholic tradition teaches that grace builds upon nature. God rarely interrupts reality, he transforms it from within. That means the traffic delay, the unexpected conversation, or the sudden idea may become instruments of grace. Divine architecture does not always look dramatic, it often looks like perfect timing. The hidden logic of chance. The word coincidence literally means two events occupying the same space, but believers recognize that for God, coincidence is simply providence. We see fragments. God sees the full mosaic. Think about how often small events lead to larger spiritual movements. A random video leads someone back to prayer. A casual invitation leads to a lifelong friendship. A mistake leads to humility and growth. What appears accidental often reveals a pattern only visible in hindsight. The Catholic saints frequently described life as a tapestry. On the front side, we see beauty and harmony. On the back side, we see tangled threads. Our daily life is the backside of the tapestry. Serendipity is when God lets us glimpse the front for a moment. The role of angels in daily moments. Catholic teaching also reminds us that we are never spiritually alone. Guardian angels are entrusted with guiding and protecting us. Their presence suggests that divine help is active not only in dramatic crises but also in everyday decisions and encounters. Sometimes what we call good timing may be spiritual protection. A missed bus might prevent a harmful situation. A forgotten errand might lead to an unexpected blessing. Faith encourages openness to the possibility that heaven is closer than we imagine. Free will and divine design. One of the most beautiful mysteries of Catholic theology is the harmony between God's plan and human freedom. God does not force events like a puppeteer. Instead, he gently weaves human choices into his plan. This means serendipity often arises through cooperation with grace. When we choose kindness, patience, or generosity, we become part of God's architecture. You may be the coincidence someone prayed for. Consider how often encouragement arrives at the perfect moment. A message from a friend appears when you feel discouraged. A scripture verse surfaces when you feel lost. In those moments, we become both receivers and instruments of providence, recognizing the sacred in routine. Divine architecture is real. Why do we miss it so often? The answer is simple: distraction. Modern life trains us to rush past moments instead of noticing them. Catholic spirituality invites the opposite: attentiveness. The practice of the examen, popularized by Saint Ignatius of Loyola, teaches believers to review their day and ask, where did I encounter God today? This simple reflection transforms ordinary life into sacred ground. When we pause and reflect, patterns begin to emerge. Gratitude grows, awareness deepens, what once seemed random begins to feel intentional. Over time, this practice changes how we see life. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We begin asking, What might God be doing here? Serendipity as invitation. Every unexpected moment carries an invitation to trust, to love, to grow, or to change direction. The Catholic faith teaches that God respects our freedom but constantly invites our cooperation. Serendipity becomes the gentle knock of grace. A delayed plan may invite patience. A chance meeting may invite compassion. A sudden idea may invite courage when viewed through faith. Daily life becomes a conversation between God and the soul. Gratitude, the key to decoding. Without gratitude, life feels random and chaotic. With gratitude, life becomes meaningful and purposeful. When we thank God for small blessings, we train our hearts to recognize His presence. Gratitude turns routine into reverence. The morning sun becomes a gift. A shared meal becomes communion. A quiet evening becomes rest in God's presence. Over time, gratitude transforms coincidence into confidence in providence. Living inside the divine blueprint. To live with awareness of divine architecture is not to become superstitious or overly analytical. It is simply to live with trust. Trust that God is present. Trust that nothing is wasted. Trust that even confusion can become part of redemption. Every day contains hidden grace waiting to be noticed. Every routine holds sacred potential. Every serendipity whispers the same message: you are not walking alone. When we begin to see life through this lens, the ordinary becomes luminous, the routine becomes meaningful, and the simple rhythm of daily life becomes a quiet journey through the loving design of God. In the end, decoding the divine architecture of serendipity is not about finding perfect explanations. It is about learning to recognize love hidden in timing, grace hidden in interruptions, and God hidden in the everyday. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this video helpful, please like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Goodbye.